what do the Vikings need to do to keep Justin Jefferson from wanting to walk that summer?
Whatever he wanted, whatever he want. If he want fried chicken on Fridays, give him fried chicken. He wants waffles on Saturdays, give him waffles on Saturdays. I think, man, because this is the thing with the Vikings. You have a very delicate situation. You know what I'm saying? You got to think the best players on the team, the new GM did not pick. He didn't pick the players. So you got to make JJ happy. Kevin O'Connell, rookie coach. I mean, his second year, playoff, division title. This year, we didn't make it. True, you can make a lot of excuses, but at the end of the day, we ain't in the playoffs. So you have both of them don't want to mess up. They still want to keep their job. So whatever JJ want, JJ gonna get. I think Kirk Cousins coming back. I don't think Justin Jefferson is going to look in their face and tell them that I'm good with you blowing the load on a whole new rookie quarterback that he might be due to mess my numbers up. Nah, JJ won't Kirk. JJ won't Kirk. I think the city won't Kirk. Do I think we should move on? Yes and no. Yes, because Kirk does turn 36 and eventually he is going to move on. No is because I ain't going to lie, man. I'm a hardworking Black man in America. On Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays, I want my team to be competent. I don't want to be hot doo-doo. I don't want to be hot doo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And you know me, Carl. Y'all know me. I'm never gonna sign up to say blow it up. Man, look, man. Yeah, I love fantasy football, but man, I still want my team to be decent, man. So it's a yes or no. It's a hard decision. But in the grand scheme of things, I do believe the Vikings do need to move on from Kirk, but it don't have to be next year. It don't have to be.
Yeah, well, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of things that Vic had pointed out. As far as Justin Jefferson singular as the player himself, yeah, whatever the man wants, you got to give him because he is a special talent. Not just only what he can do stat sheet wise as a physical specimen, he's a special with that size, speed, catch radius. Those kind of guys don't come along a lot, and that's why he's in that conversation as 1-2 with Jamar Chase because he's a freak train as well. You know what I'm saying? So you can't, by any means necessary, you can't let that walk out the door until you see some stage of decline. Then you can get out. But he don't seem like he's declining because he's the same receiver that can get busy with a Josh Dobbs, with a Nick Mullins, with a Jaron Hall. All you got to do is just give him the ball. He told his carousel quarterbacks. He said, just throw it. If it's a 50-50, a 60-40, 70-30, just throw it. I'm going to make a play. You know what I'm saying? And that you can't let that go out the door because that mentality, not a lot of guys keep that mentality, especially with the amount that they're paid as well. They might not care. Once the QB goes down, all right, it's a lost season, whatever, packing in, let me cash my checks. And I think one of the things they could do to keep him in there would be to bring Kirk Cousins back on a friendly 2-year deal with a team option for that second year. I've seen a lot of guys get deals like that at other positions, and I think it wouldn't be out of the range of outcomes to give Kirk something like that. He is 36, but this team was well on their way to, walking down the lines for that NFC. I don't know if they would have won the NFC North, but they were on their way to being a wild card easily. Yeah. They were 5-4. Mm-hmm. They came off that big win at home against the Niners, and then Kirk went down, and it kind of derailed the season a little bit. But I mean, you can't do anything about that. Injuries are going to happen. Right. And if Kirk is fully healthy, I think he gives them the best financial flexibility to continue to add around the team and draft well, because they've been doing pretty well in the draft. You are going to have to shed some of the fat with some of these major contracts they have, like the Danielle Hunter situation. You got to figure out what you want to do with him. If you want to keep him or let him walk, he is expensive. There's a couple guys that might be up for extensions pretty soon. You have the line can always be helped, but I think if you're bringing in someone who can get him the ball, I think that's all that matters because he knows when the ball's in his hands, it equals success. Right. It's not a selfish act of him wanting the ball. He knows that when he has the ball, it's going to equal success for the team. And I think Kirk has that rapport with him that he gives him the best ability to win. Now, having Kirk, you're going to need to beef up that line because coming off an Achilles injury, that mobility wasn't there beforehand. He definitely ain't scooting nowhere now. So you're going to have to give him time in that pocket. But you got a good core. You got a Ty Chandler and an Alexander Madison. You got a JJ Jordan Addison. You got a TJ Hawkinson. That offense is loaded. That offense can get in a shootout with anybody in the NFC. And the defense started playing well towards the end. But I think those would be a couple of things that I would do to keep him from leaving. And I don't think JJ wants to leave, honestly. If it was up to him, I don't think he wants to leave. I think he likes his situation, but at the same time, there's not one team in the NFL that wouldn't throw him super max money to be on their team either. So
Yeah, facts. And to me, what I'm looking at is you're dealing with a guy that is used. He came from college as a winner, you know, and when he got to the NFL, yes, everything's going good, the numbers are right, and all that stuff. But he's gonna get his bag no matter where he goes.
Right.
So it's a situation where I'm looking at it like, why hasn't he already signed that extension? Like, what is he holding out for? Maybe you know a little more about this. Why is he holding out, Vic? Why hasn't he signed an extension to become the highest paid wide receiver in the league?
I really feel like it's because he don't know who's throwing him the ball. I really do, because it's not the money. Because his extension right now on the rookie deal with the 5 year is $20 million. So he ain't hurting for bread. JJ fine. Justin Jefferson want to win. He wants to win, and so I really feel like he's looking at it like, what are y'all doing with Kirk? Because the only thing NFL players can really do is not sign that next deal. That's the only real power they have if they want to try to force somebody's hand. You know what I'm saying? So like,
you think they most likely would tag him probably too, right?
they would tag them, but most of the time when you start tagging them players, man, they take that as like disrespect, man. Like, once you start tagging guys.
So let me ask you, do you think they should go ahead and draft a quarterback this year? Like, let's say kind of like the Kansas City situation, right? They had a decent quarterback in Alex Smith, but they drafted Pat, and Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, all them boys got to see him in practice. Like, okay, we can see the future. We ain't necessarily, Do you think they should bring Kirk back and then go ahead and also draft a guy so that Justin Jefferson can at least see what the future might look like?
If I'm fine with that scenario, if Justin Jefferson's on board with that. If Justin Jefferson is on board with that, then cool. I feel like if you from now until April, if it come across your screen of your phone, Justin Jefferson signs a max deal, blah blah blah, or if he signs a deal or Kirk signs a deal, Justin Jefferson was part of that conversation. Point blank.
But I think the Vikings might be in a kind of like a tough spot a little bit too, because not only do you not know who's throwing the ball to your best player on the field, if not the entire NFL, you know what I'm saying? You've got the 11th pick in the draft where there could be some projects, not even projects, but promising quarterbacks at 11. But at the same time, you've got Jonathan Bullard, Marcus Davenport, Daniil Hunter, and DJ Woonham, all free agents on the defensive line. And I don't see them bringing back all four of them, maybe one if they can. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to have this solution probably resolved before the draft, because
if
you're banking on going into the draft with the 11th pick and you're going to sign Kirk Cousins, then you're probably going to take the best defensive player available at 11, you think? Or
Marcus Davenport, number one, need to go to jail for robbing. The man only played 3.5 games. he need to go to jail. He need to go to Minnesota State jail for at least a month, because that was crazy. We didn't see that man play no more than 3 games, I feel like. Daniil Hunter, I think you got to pay him, man. That's one of the premier positions. You got to pay him. DJ Wanham, he's on the deal. I mean, he's a free agent. You got to pay. Like, they got a lot of decisions to make. So
a lot of areas to address on the defense and a lot of decisions to make. But
So,
I think okay. So if you say you did this, right? Just hear me out. Say you did this, right? Say you signed Daniil Hunter, right? But you gave him those voidable years and a way to get yourself out of it. But it's kind of front loaded a little bit or back loaded. You bring back DJ Wanham and you draft some guys in the second round. How would you feel if the Vikings didn't bring back Kirk and they went in a whole other direction and they went with like a Michael Penix or Jaden Daniels, who maybe they might make it because you got Chicago needs a QB possibly. Washington definitely needs a quarterback. New England needs one. We don't know what the Cardinals might do with Kyler. You know what I'm saying? And then you got New York Giants. You know what I'm saying? They might need one. Tennessee. I don't know how they feel about Will Levis. Atlanta definitely is a quarterback. So if them guys make it through all that, even if you do have Kirk Cousins on the roster, is what I meant to say initially, would you still take a Jaden Daniels or a Michael Penix?
If you trade, so in the scenario you saying it's not a trade up, just if you
There's
just
no trade. Say they fall to you at 11, right? They make
oh
it
yeah,
through.
take it, take it,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, say a
take it,
Jaden Daniels falls you at 11,
take it.
because Jaden Daniels needs to put on a lot of weight to play in the NFL. He's gonna get himself hurt, right? But he can learn for a year. That's what I'm saying. You give Kirk a 2-year deal with a team option for the second year. You can let him learn behind Kirk, and if Kirk go down, he's not that bad of a replacement coming behind him because he's a pocket presence passer too. You get what I'm
Or the
saying?
other scenario is, there's a guy that you've been very high on that we talked about in Quinn Ewers who decided to go back to school. You
Yeah,
know,
he's going back to school now.
you know, you could always take Kirk for this 1 year and then maybe draft Quinn Ewers next year.
You could. I feel like you double dipping if you give Kirk a team friendly deal, but then in the first round you trade up or use the 11th pick to get a quarterback. It's kind of like
Green
you
Bay.
like you kind of like, I ain't saying like you sealed our fate for the season, but you kind of say like we ain't win no Super Bowl because we got spots we got to fill up. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
feel you. At 11 too is because there's a lot of talent still left at 11.
yeah,
Now, if you do this like Green Bay at like 29, between 29 and 32, it's a little different, but
that's
still,
different, right? But
yeah.
you pay Kurt and then the 11th pick or trade up for a QB. It's like what he like. I
So
don't
what?
know.
So what position would you want them to attack the most? Like, you think they need corners? You think they need linebacker? Or you?
I am glad that we're keeping Brian Flores. I don't think he's getting interviews, which is, I'm not saying he's not a good coach. It's just I think him still suing the NFL, that stuff. I'm glad Flo's staying. The defense was good until that Bengals game. That Bengals game, they did a lot of homework. That Bengals game, the Lions game, those were the rest of the season. They just cooked us. They figured us out. But that's NFL's chess. But I think we need a defensive tackle. We need a big fat boy that when he bend over, you see his ass crack, and he can go through the line. He can wall guys up. Because I like Jazon Newton from Illinois. I like Tavondre Sweat from Texas, but he's not a first round pick. I like Strong from Texas. He's not a first round pick. I like Chris Jenkins from Michigan. I don't know if he's a top 15 pick. We need some ham in the middle. We need some ham hawks in the middle to corner. You know how I feel about corner, man. I feel like
Corner is hit or miss.